We applaud the presence
presentes, el señor presidente de la República electo, Santiago Peña Palacios, y señora esposa Leticia Ocampos. Los aplausos, saludando la presencia del señor presidente de la República electo, Santiago Peña Palacios, y señora esposa Leticia Ocampos. El saludo de los integrantes de la comisión de recepción. Luego, el presidente de la República electo pasará a ocupar su lugar en la mesa presidencial. Nuevamente los aplausos para el señor presidente de la República electo, Santiago Peña Palacios.
We welcome Mr. President, the elected President, Mr. Santiago Peña, and the First Lady, Leticia Ocampos.
Seguidamente recibirá el saludo de los integrantes de la mesa.
Next, he shall receive the salutation of the members of the chair.
El presidente de la Corte Suprema de Justicia, Su Excelencia, Ministro Dr. César Manuel Diesel, Yungan.
Ministers and members of the Supreme Court,
Diputado Raúl Luis Latorre,
the lower chamber, the President of the lower chamber, and the President of the Chamber of Senators.
Buenos días, señoras y señores congresistas. Habiendo el quórum legal, reanudamos la sesión solemne del Congreso de la Nación de conformidad con lo establecido en el artículo 183, numeral 1, en concordancia con los artículos 202, numeral 14 y 232 de la Constitución de la República del Paraguay, a fin de recibir el juramento del presidente de la República y vicepresidente electos y proclamados en las últimas elecciones generales del 30 de abril del 2023, según acuerdo y sentencia número 15 del 2023, dictada en fecha 24 de mayo del corriente por el Tribunal Superior de Justicia Electoral. Invito a los presentes a ponerse de pie para entonar el himno nacional.
La entonación del himno nacional paraguayo estará a cargo de la señora Melissa Hicks, acompañada por la Orquesta Municipal de Asunción.
Sing the national anthem now.
Muchas gracias. Pueden
Very
tomar
much.
asiento, señoras y
You may
señores.
sit, ladies and
Prosigue
gentlemen.
la sesión solemne con las palabras
We continue
del señor
with the
presidente del
speech
Congreso de la Nación,
of the President of the
Su
Congress of the
Excelencia
Nation,
Senador Silvio Adalberto
Senator
Ovelar
Silvio
Benítez.
Adalberto Ovelar.
Señor Santiago Peña Palacios,
Mr. Santiago Peña,
presidente
President
de la República del
of the
Paraguay,
Republic of Paraguay.
electo y proclamado. Señor Pedro Alián,
Mr. Pedro Iliana,
vicepresidente de la
Vice President of the
República del
Republic of Paraguay,
electo y proclamado.
elected and
Señor
proclaimed.
César Diesel,
Mr. César
presidente de la Corte Suprema de
President of the
Justicia.
Supreme Justice
Señor
Court.
Raúl Latorre,
Mr. Raúl
presidente de la
Latorre,
Honorable
President
Cámara de
of the
Diputados.
Honorable
Honorables
Deputies Chamber.
congresistas,
Honorable
señores
Congressman,
expresidentes de la República,
Mr. Ex-President
ilustres
of the Republic,
dignatarios invitados, señor
all the
presidente
invited
de mi
chiefs,
partido, don Horacio Cartes,
Mr. President of
distinguidas
my party, Mr.
delegaciones extranjeras,
Horacio Cartes,
señores
distinguished
miembros del cuerpo
foreigner
diplomático,
diplomatic
autoridades
authorities,
nacionales,
national
civiles,
authorities,
eclesiásticas, militares
civil,
y policiales,
ecclesiastic,
ciudadanos
military,
y ciudadanas.
and police.
Con la asunción del gobierno de Santiago
With the
Peña,
assumption of the government of Santiago
se
Peña,
demuestra que nuestra
we show that our
república
republic
vive una democracia
lives
sana, aunque
healthy democracy.
debemos fortalecer la cultura
Before
democrática,
we should
porque requiere
reinforce the
siempre de
democratic culture,
atención
it
y
always
cuidado.
requires the attention.
Este acto de juramento constitucional
This solemn act of a constitutional vow, it's a symbol of our political strength that selects their alternatives electorally by voting, respecting the results without conflict and in social peace. The people voted massively, and they chose legitimately on conscience their representatives of this government. The Colorado Party, my party, clearly won the national power, by absolute majority, just like it has received the majority in both chambers in the Congress. As president of the legislative power, I shall be committed to represent the people, to consolidate this state of right that precedes our nation. Mr. President, the policies about the big national issues that were talked about to be better, we need them to be implemented as soon as possible. We assist a reconstruction of the nation in time, as soon as possible, where everything that's expected of a new government is for right now. We don't have the time to lose to attend all these necessities. We present to execute the structural reforms in the entire public sector in order to achieve the government by democracy that sets us apart from an anti-system rhetoric. We try to achieve a democratic governability that guarantees that the government could carry its functions by efficiency, transparency, and responsibly. At the same time, it will respect the fundamental republic principles, the separation of powers, the social state of rights, and the respect for human rights. You will find in the National Congress a legislative power committed with society and the republic. respecting the diversity of political diversity in peace in our democracy. I believe dialogue and the capacity of listening will be the main tools that we have as political actors to find common ground in the plurality of ideas. Listening will ensure the trust in harmony and will set us apart from a political gap that could generate the division. From the Chamber of Senators, I am making sure that we will have a political debate to guarantee that all political ideas could be well presented and heard of about common and public matters. Ladies and gentlemen, I tell you one worry I have. We live in a society with the criteria of truth in front of realities that could be alternative in front of facts. This political advancement added with artificial intelligence and the possibility of degrading policy, risking denigration and citizen debate. This could derive in a fallacy, generating a distortion and threatening democracy. In front of this scenario, we require a government to have a good capacity of communication, analyze, evaluate, and implement all kind of management, public, with quality based on the truth, in order to achieve programs to contribute to the development of social and economic development of our peoples, in order to provide a democracy with results. The people have to have the necessary information to understand the alternatives that we have, that allow them to be better, to walk the path on a positive promise of a positive future. Ladies and gentlemen, in the later years, our society has faced diverse challenges that have shaped our present and that we need to learn from to be in direction of a better future. With the beginning of this government, we have many sensitive issues that require our attention. We affirm as power of a republic that we are open to dialogue and in order to understand these issues, in order to provide a democracy with the results beyond the electoral result. And I call to make sure, I call on every Paraguayan to have access to education, health, dignified work, legal equality, and an active participation in the decision taken that affects the country. Mr. President, Chiefs of State, national and foreign authorities, dear people, I share my hope on this new government, and I'm sure we will be better. We got and we know what we're going to do in the country to be better. And I know every Paraguayan likes you, trusts you in your capacity, and they will support you in order to lead the country. Let's work together, nobody left behind, and God and may God bless you. That was the speech of the President of the Congress of the Nation, Senator Silvio Ovelar.
Invito al ciudadano Pedro Aliana a prestar el juramento constitucional.
I call Mr. Pedro Aliana to present his vow in his character of Vice President of the Republic. I require those present to stand on your feet for this act.
Acompaña al señor vicepresidente electo.
Rush, the elected Vice President, is accompanied by his dear wife, Fabiana Soto. Citizen Hercules Pedro Aliana Ruiz, do you swear to work with fidelity and patriotism to be Vice President of the Republic of Paraguay, to watch and be aware of our Constitution and our laws of the Republic? I do. If you don't, God, the country, and the people shall demand. Mr. Vice President has sworn on the book and salutes all of those present. He shall occupy his place in the table. And I call citizen Santiago Peña to make his vow by Constitution in his character of elected President of the Republic of Paraguay.
Acompaña al señor presidente electo.
Mr. Santiago Peña is accompanied by the First Lady, Leticia Ocampos. Citizen Santiago Peña Palacios, do you swear to work with fidelity and patriotism as President of the Republic of Paraguay, to watch and have the Constitution be watched as well as the laws of the Republic? I do. If you don't, God, the country, and the people will demand it.
El señor presidente del Congreso de la Nación.
The elected President of the nation receives the official band dressed with all the honors. The elected President Santiago Peña Palacios salutes the people. The armed forces salute the new president with 21 guns.
Escuchamos el sonar de las sirenas de las naves de
We shall hear the sirens of the National Navy and the bells of the National Cathedral and the Church of Encarnacion. We also see the salute of the Air Force by the National Air Force airplanes.
el excelentísimo señor presidente de la República del Paraguay.
His Excellency, Mr. President of the Republic of Paraguay, Santiago Peña Palacios, occupies now his place in the presidential table. In this way, Mr. President, President of the Congress of the nation, salutes the President and the Vice President elected. I call Mr. President of the Republic of Paraguay, His Excellency Santiago Peña Palacios, to address the Congress and the nation.
Su Excelencia, señor Silvio Velar, presidente del Congreso de la Nación.
His Excellency, Mr. Silvio Velar, President of the Congress of the Nation. His Excellency, Mr. Pedro Hércules Pedro Aliano Rodríguez, Vice President. Your Excellency, César Diesel, President of the Supreme Justice Court. Mr. Raúl Latorre, President of the Chamber of Deputies. Dear members of the Honorable Congress of the Nation, His Majesty King Felipe VI of Spain, Mr. Luis Ignacio Lula da Silva, President of the Federation of Brazil, and his wife, His Excellency Mr. Luis Lacalle Pou, President of Uruguay, His Excellency Mr. Alberto Fernandez, President of the Republic of Argentina, His Excellency Mr. Gabriel Boric, President of Chile, His Excellency Luis Arce Catacora, President of Bolivia, His Excellency Mr. William Ching-Tay Lai, Vice President of the Republic of Taiwan, His Excellency Felix Ulloa, Vice President of El Salvador. Ladies and gentlemen, chiefs of the foreign delegations, authorities, national, civil, military, and ecclesiastic. Dear Paraguayan people, today is a day of celebration. We celebrate the victory of liberty, we celebrate the victory of democracy as a tool to govern in a just and convenient manner for all, a tool to live in harmony. Every 5 years, on 15th of August, we celebrate the hope of a new beginning, a beginning that shall get us the homeland closer to a dream nation that was versed by the great poet Carlos Miguel Jimenez. My soul is filled with gratitude towards the Paraguayan people that has given me the mandate to govern, and of each and every one of the people that have participated in our long and vigorous electoral process, showing high civical maturity and respect to the democratic institutions. Those who have supported me, those who have selected me, my contenders, I tell you, each and every one of you will contribute in the construction of consensus for the common good. Gratitude to my party that was born with the Republic, with the mission of reconstruct our nation and promote the well-being of the Paraguayan people over the base of equality, justice, and popular sovereignty. To my fellow party members, national Republican Association, to the authorities and the president of my party, Don Horacio Cartejara, to the authorities. Thanks for persevering without faint on the construction of consensus and the seeking of agreements over differences. Today, we shall bring that political call to the service of all Paraguayans. We wish to be a party at the service of the nation. Thanks to my friend and today governing partner, our Vice President Pedro Hercules Aliano, and the people who honor me by accepting to be members of my cabinet. Thank you very much, family and friends. To my life partner, Leticia, who accepted me at age 17 without contemplating much of a future. And here we are, 27 years later, we are still together, probably assuming the biggest challenge of our lives. To my sons, Gonzalo and Constanza, who have been from birth my biggest motivation to serve my country. To my parents, whom I got the biggest wealth of all, that which money cannot buy. I inherited the value of the word, the principles and values that allow me day by day to differentiate good from bad. My brothers who are friends and my friends who are brothers, love, patience and contention that they gave me in these times of civic struggle and sacrifice, I shall return multiplied, converted in actions for the well of our people. It's a promise of a son, brother, husband, father, and president. To the people that today are with us and are observing us in all the medium, in everywhere in the country and to the world, thank you very much. Today is the birthday of our nation, mother of cities and cradle of the liberty of America. Just like the poet Eloy Fariña Núñez said it. 486 years ago, on 15th of August, only 100 meters from this place, the house of Nuestra Señora de la Asunción, we can say that in this place our nation was born. It was here where the mixing of races was the most intense, in which the original people have given us their hospitality and bravery. 4 years later, 16th September 1541 has turned into a city-state, constituting like this the second oldest in South America, establishing the institutions that almost 500 years later are still pillars of our Republican life. Today, Asunción, capital of Paraguay, welcomes us, dressed in their best. With their sons we salute and we honor this civic party, loyal to the Republican vocation. Dear countrymen, today I assume with honor responsibility to serve you as your mandatory, and I address you with humbleness and determination that I am committed to sustain and consolidate the necessary competences to govern with success. And here I want to be very clear. Success is achieved that all Paraguayans be better and the world could be witness of the resurrection of a giant. I'm committed to be a leader, a strong leader, an ethical leader based on the principles of transparency, integrity, and public service. I shall put all my effort to inspire and motivate our nation towards a prosperous and just future. We had already been a big nation, and today we are determined to be so again. I assume the responsibility to lead the government, sure that my purpose is to serve our country and work tirelessly for the well-being of all its inhabitants. Together we shall construct a future that is bright and prosperous for our beloved country. And a strategic vision is essential to guide the country towards development. We shall work tirelessly to construct a society that's inclusive, equitable, and joint, where every citizen has the opportunity to prosper, and we shall promote the participation to govern, involving citizens in the take of decisions, creating policies that respond to their necessities. We shall adopt a territorial focus on public policies to promote an equal development and sustain the whole country. Pushing for the decentralization of public services, bringing them closer to communities and strengthening the local management. Our commitment is to construct a society where everyone could prosper. I should establish sources of dialogue to conquer political agreements, not only on abilities, but also indispensable attitudes for successful leadership. I shall establish bridges of dialogue and cooperation in all sectors to achieve agreements that will benefit our country. I will work to construct consensus that are based in the common good, overpassing that which divides us. We need to believe in plurality, tolerance, and democracy. We need to fight the ignorance and the lack of opportunities. It's time for a pact to reach quality of life that the families in Paraguay deserve, where consensus is an obligation to satisfy the necessities of their citizens. Let's understand that the signals that today the people are giving us, patience and tolerance, are over in front of the tiresome of the citizen that sees their leaders fight while we have no schools or medicine in hospitals, nor safety in the streets. In an international level, 3 global challenges are the main: access to water, food security, and energetic sufficiency. Paraguay being a power in these 3 axes, we are called to be protagonists in the concert of nations. Our soil has the biggest energy of the biggest supply of fresh water, including the Acuífero Guaraní that we share with our neighbors. Paraguay is a world-class provider of food and one of the few countries able to produce food to feed their population, and more than 100 million people around the world. The TAIPEI Dam in hydroelectric power, we are the pioneers in integration of energy and regional energy, and today we're decided to advance to a better efficiency and sustainability on the energy sector. We construct alliances and cooperation with a geostrategical vision, looking for horizontal agreements. Our relations with the Republic of China, Taiwan, is evidence of this, and the amicable spirit of that of cooperation of Paraguay with the nations that we have, with which we have great affection, and with which we feel not only allies but also brothers. We negotiate and we continue negotiating with the world without compromising our sovereignty, territory, values, or culture. Our exterior policy it's fundamented on the respect of interests on the national level, and the effective diplomacy, promotion of commerce and investment, on the development of capacities, on national security, and the promotion of our values and interests in the international level. Climate change is real, and it's a great challenge on a planetary level. We must take measures to avoid a bigger damage to the planet, even if our country has not contributed in an important manner on this field. we see with worried eyes there are some initiatives, no doubt well-intentioned, could constitute a barricade on our human development. Paraguay is part of the solution, for which we will prioritize a model of development that is going to be just, sustainable in all aspects, privileging our environment, which is our home, and with our people is our most valuable capital. Paraguay is transforming into a logistical center of the bioceanic corridor in South America, which makes it an opportunity because of our center geography. Today, it strengthens the integration of the neighboring countries and the Pacific countries. This commercial corridor will impulse Mercosur and the Pacific Alliance, promoting better closing between both blocks. Besides, by their intersection with the Hidrovía Paraguay-Paraná, will be converted into the best and most competitive form to transport products from the different countries to ports of the Pacific, facilitating consensus for management of fluvial navigation. Paraguay is decided to abandon its old image of island surrounded by land, just like our Cervantes prize on Augusto Roabastos described. We shall transform in the center of integration of South America. This is why one of our principal objectives, strategic objectives, it will be to contribute to improve the working of Mercosur. I see here the presidents of Argentina, Brazil, Uruguay, and Bolivia, and I cannot deny to think that managing the hidrovia, the water, the underground water sources, and the bioceanic corridor, the hydroelectrical plants, and the navigation of our rivers are delicate processes of equilibrium between integration, sovereignty, and the sovereignty of our countries. We are conscious that the progress achieved in the path of integration, but we cannot be satisfied, and we must advance with courage and determination. We are the region in the world with the most potential of development, but reaching this potential we can only do working together. The region also faces other challenges, strategic challenges that we cannot ignore and that require a regional focus. Such is the case of the criminal networks, transnational, especially on narcotics and the treating of people. We must improve our mechanisms of cooperation in terms of intelligence, exchange of information, training of human resources, compatibility of informatic systems, information technology system, and integration and agility in controls and in the controls. Our history, our vocation towards peace pushes us to consume all instances of dialogue, looking for solutions, pacific solutions, and constructive solutions for all the challenges that we might face as nations, as a nation integrated to the world. Paraguay is not going to be absent on the fight for peace in all corners of the planet, including the conflict in Russia and Ukraine. We still maintain economical links and cultural and historical links with the people of Russia, but we shall not remain indifferent in front of the aggression that the Ukrainian people is suffering, with the terrible consequences for human development. Ukraine suffers today the same bad luck that Paraguay received during the Great War that had us face our neighbors. We were invaded by larger powers, and as consequence we lost 60% of our territory and 90% of our population. That conflict has left sequels that are severe until today. At 153 years of the end of the war, we're still in the process of recovery. We believe in dialogue and not in strength as a mechanism to solve controversy. With humbleness but with much conviction, we call all the involved parties in this conflict to stop immediately the military action to avoid further victims and damage. We support the initiatives of peace pushed by Brazil, brother country, and a strategic ally, just like the Pope Francis, whom we had the pride of receiving him in his 2015 year visit in the year 2015, whose presence still inspires all of the Paraguayans. As political leader, I will be attentive of of global tendencies and the challenges emerging that could affect our nation. I shall take decisions by being informed on the different strategies and the different emerging strategies that could affect our nation. I shall take decisions to safeguard the interests of Paraguay and promote its development on a sustainable way in a world in constant change. An effective management is essential to achieving results that could be felt in the pockets and on the tables of the Paraguayan families. I shall ensure to administer in an efficient manner the resources of our nation, implementing policies and programs that will benefit all citizens and that will guarantee a rigorous rendition of accounting. Our country is commanded by the national constitution that establishes a social rights state with the objective of constructing a governance that guarantee the access to all the population of public services of quality, contemplating the respect towards human rights, and the fundamental rights of the people. Also, the economic growth in a sustainable manner and administration to ensure public peace and an insertion on the international strategies. I was committed during the campaign to get involved personally in the modernization of our education system, to identify the priorities and urgencies and assign the required resources at the right time, to improve the quality of life of our teachers so that they, with all their strength, could impulse the changes that will allow us to deliver a better education to our children. To stop improvising solutions on infrastructure which are obsolete and construct real centers of education excellence in every district on the country. To stop using education as an eternal excuse of our deficiencies while we do little to nothing to improve it. To utilize the international cooperation for our own projects and solutions of education, and not to experiment with foreign ideas or canned ideas that only distract efforts. I am committed that our education shall form critical thinking leaders who are proactive and with a vocation of service with values. We shall design integral solutions and integrated solutions adapted on the specific necessities of our extensive and diverse territory, always trying that equity is present in the access of our students to knowledge and abilities that will improve the quality of life, not only on a good education, but in the ones that they can provide. For that improvement in education, in order for it to be reality, I need the involvement of the families, of the students, of the teachers, and the local authorities. And I know that I am supported by them to achieve this dream. In the health sector, we shall do the things right. One intensive care therapy unit can save lives, but also can be bad government negotiation. And the cost of the ignoring of the real necessities of the people for the bad use of resources, efficiency and transparency in the use of resources to attend our people, the improvement on infrastructure and equipment of the centers of medical detention in every district, focus on the prevention and the attention of on the right attention of pains and illnesses. We shall stop the long lines of waiting, the long lines of dating, to accessing equipment that is not used because of lack of resources, maintenance of personnel. In the health sector, all the mistakes and negligences are paid with lives. That's why there shall not be a second opportunity for those who fail. In safety, we are hurt by the families of the victims. We heard of every death, every injury, every kidnap, every abduction. Our immediate response will be to be simple as effective. More effective in the streets, less effective. More on the streets, less in the offices. Better use of technology, better training of our forces of safety, rationalization of equipment so that they are available in the day by day, a better management of human resources. In the fight of terrorism, against drugs, against the treatment of people, against money laundering and all the involved crime, our principal instruction to all dependencies is the integration of efforts with the General Attorney of the state and justice. We shall work hard for the policies to stop being a temptation for the organized crime. We shall establish systems of cooperation in an international forum to be more effective based on the diagnosis of our necessities. And I shall remember here our countrymen who are kidnapped, their families, and at the same time I renew the commitment that we had to end this form of crime in any place of our territory. In the fight against poverty, I want to be guided by the wisdom of Pope Francis, who said, in front of the poor, you don't do rhetoric, but you start working immediately. You practice faith, involving yourself directly without delegating work on anybody. Our intention is for this to work as a network of social protection, avoiding the dispersion and the duplication factors that have been helped for the ghost of corruption to wander around. The focus of the struggle against poverty is the vulnerable person, not as a conglomerate of institutions who accumulate biddings. They generate clientelism and spill prebendarism. The more focalized and effective and vertical the road, the more help would arrive with better effect to the most vulnerable people. The final objective is not to maintain countrymen in vulnerability, but support them on the improvement of their lives and their capacities to progress by their own means. And in the sector of economical policies, the people are not guided by indicators, macroeconomic indicators, but by money in their pockets, by the opportunities to access a better employment, by the opportunities to save and invest in commodities for our family or in our future for our children. The key for the growth to reach people is the access of quality jobs that not only shall provide social security but also opportunities to development and well-being of the workers. We need to generate at least 500,000 new jobs of quality to attend the demand of the population and the growth of the annual growth of newcomers in the labor force. From the government, we shall promote the creation of these jobs with the private sector, which means a great effort of coordination in an interinstitutional level and on a territorial level to be articulated well with the productive service. The Minister of Economy will be responsible to formulate, coordinate, and supervise the economic policies of the state, with the objective to promote on the development of economic sustainability and the generation of work, with competitivity and productivity of the different economic sectors, and also to establish ways to enforce the protection of the consumers. In economic policies, we are not and we shall not be a policeman sitting on a safe box. If it were like this, we shall only just tie at the end of the term. We shall only break even at the end of the term. We will be generators of creative factors like incentives to industry and the eradication of investments, innovation, technological innovation, and the use of productivity and the labor productivity to achieve the great leap, the great economical leap that our nation deserves. Finally, the most important, we have a good work team assembled by a great diversity of talents who are main and substitutes to lead the ministries and other branches of the state. The success of any government gestion depends on a great manner on the capacity and experience of the people who occupy these seats. We have reunited professionals who are very well skilled and committed that shall permit us to strengthen the capacity of the government to face these challenges and fulfill these expectations with society. Plus, we have a balanced team and diverse in terms of knowledge, abilities that shall allow us to face the diverse problems we have and the situations that could arise. I trust on the success of my team and my work team as a result of a difficult, careful, and rigorous selection of talent to guarantee good development on the public administration. I share my faith in these convictions and the values that guide my actions as mandatory of the Paraguayan people. I am convinced that our problems on democracy will be solved with a better democracy, that our problems in capacity and absence of the state will be fixed with better public policies, counting with human resources and the rules and institutions that ensure states to provide the public spaces. Justice, safety, education, health, infrastructure, and social taking care of the environment. In particular, I have the conviction that the problems of corruption will be solved with independent justice, impartial and fast, with sufficient resources to guarantee an administration in all the national territory, and with a public decision that is clear, hard, and unbreakable, like the one that this president has to implement with transparency, that have been successful in other countries, that would allow us to show the world and ourselves that Paraguay is better than people say. Also, I believe that these problems of growth, about the eradication of poverty, can only be solved with economies of open market, correctly regulated with rules on the game that are clear and stable, with an efficient state, limited in its size. I think that the guarantee to on private property on a straight manner. But the struggle shall be firm on every citizen to access the private property. I consider the best political social there is the growth on sustainable growth, generating opportunities of formal employment, decent and well paid. I believe that the importance of competitivity and the challenges to increase productivity and provide our citizens with the best possibilities of development and their projects of life with stability. Final message. Dear countrymen, I assume the commitment to maintain and consolidate the competitions is necessary to govern with success for you. I shall work tirelessly for the well-being of our nation, accompanied by a team of the greatest level, guided by a strategic vision, leadership, governance in a participative way, and abilities to negotiate that are proper. Together we shall construct a Paraguay with prosperity and justice for all. May God illuminate us and provide us the strength to be prudent and the necessary wisdom to serve the country that we love so much. God bless you all and God bless our nation. Thank you very much.
El presidente de la República del Paraguay decreta artículo primero.
The President of the Republic decrees. Article 1. Minister of the Interior.
Artículo tercero. Refréndese por el ministro aquí designado. Artículo cuarto. Comuníquese, publíquese e insértese en el registro oficial. Decreto número 2.
Decree number 2, by which we name ministers of the executive power. We shall call Rubén Darío Ramírez Lescano as a Minister of Foreign Relations. Article 2, we name Carlos Fernández Valdovinos as Minister of Taxing. Article 3, Mr. Ramírez Silva as Minister of Education and Sciences. Article 4, Mr. Carlos Jiménez Díaz, Minister of Agriculture. Article 5, we name Ms. Claudia María de la Paz as Minister of Public Works and Communications. Article 6, we name Mr. Oscar Luis González as Minister of National Defense. Article 7, we name Ms. María Teresa Guaram as Minister of Health. Article 8, we shall name Mr. Ángel Ramón Barcini as Minister of Justice. Article 9, we shall name Mr. Ariel Jiménez García Zúñiga as Minister of Industry and Commerce. Article 10, Ms. Cynthia Carolina Figueredo, Minister of Women. Article 11, we name Ms. Mónica Isabel Recalde as Minister of Jobs and Works and Social Security. Article 12, we name Mr. Miguel Darío Rojas as Minister of Social Development. Article 13, we name Mr. Rolando Gabriel Barreto as Minister of Environment and Sustainable Development. Article 14, we name Mr. Juan Carlos Baruja as Minister of Urban Housing and Habitat. Mr. Huartel Emilio Cabrera as Minister of Children and Adolescents. Article 16, we name Mr. Gustavo Villate as Minister of TI and Communications. Article 17. The said minister shall present oath, their vow, which shall be communicated, registered in the official documentation. Ladies and gentlemen, signing of the act of vow by the National Notary Public. The take of the vow of the ministers by Mr. Santiago Peña Palacios. Citizens: Enrique Riera, Rubén Darío Ramírez,
Carlos Fernández Valdovinos, Luis Fernando Ramírez Silva, Carlos Alcibiades Jiménez Díaz, Claudia María de la Paz Centurión Rodríguez, Oscar Luis González Cañete, María Teresa Barán, Ángel Ramón Malchini, Javier Jiménez García de Zúñiga, Cintia Carolina Figueredo Arriola, Mónica Isabel Recalde de Giacomi, Rolando de Barros Barreto, Miguel Tadeo Rojas Mesa, Juan Carlos Baruja Fernández, Walter Emilio Gutiérrez Cabrera, Gustavo Emilio Villate Samaniego, juran desempeñar con fidelidad y patriotismo el cargo de ministro
to manage your ministerial
de Relaciones
naming,
Exteriores, de Hacienda, de Educación y Ciencias, de Agricultura y Ganadería, de Obras Públicas y Comunicaciones, de Defensa Nacional, de Salud Pública y Bienestar Social, de Justicia, de Industria y Trabajo, de la Mujer, del Trabajo, Empleo y Seguridad Social, del Ambiente y Desarrollo Sostenible, del Desarrollo Social, de Urbanismo, Vivienda y Hábitat, de la Niñez y la Adolescencia, de Tecnologías de la Información y Comunicación, respectivamente.
respectively, to observe and veil for the Constitution and the laws. I do. If you don't, shall God and the people demand you.
A continuación, el saludo
Next, the salutation of all the ministers.
señor presidente de la República, Santiago Peña Palacios. Señoras y señores, así finaliza la ceremonia de juramento.
Ladies and gentlemen, the vow ceremony has finished.
A todos por su presencia. Muchas gracias.
We thank you for your presence.
Buenos días. Dios bendiga
Have a good morning and God bless Paraguay.
Una noche tibia nos conocimos junto al agua azul del Pacaraí. Tú cantabas triste por el camino, viejas melodías en guaraní, y con el embrujo de tus canciones iba renaciendo tu amor en mí. Y en la noche hermosa de plenilunio de tus blancas manos sentí el calor que con sus caricias me dio el amor. ¿Dónde estás ahora, Cuñataí? Que tu suave canto no llega a mí. ¿Dónde estás ahora? Mi ser te añora con frenesí. Todo te recuerda mi dulce amor, junto al agua azul de Pacaraí. Vuelve para siempre, mi amor, te espero. Con el embrujo de tus canciones iba renaciendo tu amor en mí. Y en la noche hermosa del plenilunio de tus blancas manos sentí el calor que con sus caricias me dio el amor. ¿Dónde estás ahora, Cuñataí? Que tu suave canto no llega a mí. ¿Dónde estás ahora? Mi ser te añora con frenesí. Todo te recuerda mi dulce amor, junto al agua azul del Pacaraí. Vuelve para siempre, mi amor te espera. Viejos recuerdos trae mi memoria y llega el hado que es todo un ay. Mi pecho enfermo dulce en ti piensa noches hermosas del Paraguay. Huérfano incierto, sigo la ruta, triste tragedia de mi pesar. Mas nada pasa, mi alma se enluta, sueño en las noches del Paraguay. De dice bohemia, canto mis versos todo al azar. no son noches del Paraguay. Pienso en mi rancho, mi madre amada, la china ocaso que me olvidó. Viendo constantes bellos reflejos de aquella luna que no me oyó. Mi luna hermosa no me refleja, la niebla fría cubre mi andar. No son tus cantos menos tus luces, radiante luna del Paraguay. Recuerdo todo de aquellos días, de los amores que allá dejé. Mis ilusiones, la prometida, la amada buena de mi niñez. De ti distante me hice bohemio, canto mis versos todo al azar. Sufro llorando en altas horas que no son noches del Paraguay. Pienso en mi rancho, mi madre amada, la china ocaso que me olvidó. Viendo constantes bellos reflejos de aquella luna que no me oyó.
原来好的益生菌真的可以帮助入睡。太阳星全效克菲尔益生菌是国家认证 AB 克菲尔益生菌，含7种有身份证的专利活菌，能产生伽巴、色氨酸等助眠因子，难怪吃了更快入睡，也睡得更好。太阳星全效克菲尔益生菌也是台湾市场上唯一添加克菲尔乳杆菌 M1 的产品。这是由台湾知名的大学季转，对季节敏感、调整体质的朋友，真的是一大福音。还有这支还添加被称为超级食物的羽衣甘蓝萃取物，不少研究都指出十字花科蔬菜有助抗炎及防癌，像是羽衣甘蓝含有高量的叶黄素、贝塔胡萝卜素、维生素 K、维生素 C、叶酸等丰富营养素。太阳星全效克菲尔益生菌专利制成，无塑化剂、无重金属、无人工添加物、无410项农药、无香料调味剂、无防腐剂、无色素，7大保证、7大认证，觉得好安心。每日克菲尔，时刻美好 ，Good Feel Feel Good， 快点购下单！太阳星全效克菲尔益生菌。